Denise Boyd here, and today's Motivational Monday post is Be Unapologetically You. Hear me out, friend. There is no other way to live your life except living it unapologetically you. I mean it. So, why do I say that? So, my mom, coming from personal experience, was always living unapologetically her, even if no one around her understood why she was the way that she was. And she never apologized for it. And here now, I look at it like, wow, that was a big testament. But for me, I've always known it was, but every day it gets deeper and deeper, more profound, and it gives me new awareness. So, what do I mean by that? So, being unapologetically you is so important because once you get to the core of who you are and you're unapologetic about it, then that's where your success will come, it will thrive, it will flourish. I mean it. Because when you are sitting there trying to be something that you are not, what it will do is hinder you from the success that you were created to have. The biggest problem is that we try to create success and hope that it will be sustained the wrong way by not really being who we were meant to be or who we are at our core, which is super important. And I'm going to be honest, when I first started what I'm doing, I was me, but I don't feel like I was truly like me. If you get it, you get it. So I really don't think that I was. And that's because I had to figure out who I really was at my core. And once we get to the end of this, I will explain that to you and explain how you can get there too. Now, here's the thing that I've been doing, and I've witnessed other people doing it as well. They apologize to other people for who they are. Like they would be a certain way and then they would apologize for it. And then the craziest part is that they would even kind of apologize to themselves by trying to change themselves, like get that part of them away from them, trying to fit in with who I don't know, Like who are you trying to fit in with? Who was I trying to fit in with? Why, do we do those things? But the thing is, if we just let go of those insecurities about who the real us are at our core and just let it be, then we will realize that that's who we were meant to be this whole time, and that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because once we get there, then our success, who we were meant to be, will cause success for us. It'll just happen because you will be you. So it won't necessarily just happen, but if you will be you, then it will start manifesting itself. It will start happening, point blank. So what I want you to do is to stop apologizing for who you are. And no, not for being rude, because rudeness is not who anyone is at that core. Like, no one is rude at their core, all right? Those are some things that we pick up along the way. But who you are, who you truly are at your core it doesn't go one way or the other. Who you truly are at your core could be some kind of little quirkiness to you that you may have that no one else may have, and that's okay. Like me, for example, I'm very quiet, I'm reserved, but I'm also a people person. I know that sounds super weird, right? But that's what makes me me. And I think a different way than a lot of people think. And then I have a gift that I know that I have that some people don't understand. But it's not up to me to make them understand it. It's just for me to live in it. So I choose to live in it, and not just so that I could be successful for me, but so that I could be successful for others, because there are other people who are waiting on me to be where I am now so that I could actually reach them and help them to get to where they are supposed to be, because all of us were created for success, whether you believe it or not. So what I want you to do is this. So I have been doing this, and it has really helped me to truly get to know more about me and not worry about what I am not. because what I am is enough. Who you are is enough. All right. So first thing I want you to do is to embrace your quirkiness. Whatever your quirkiness is, embrace it, give it a big hug, because it's yours. And whatever other people think, so what? And then I want you to replace busy time with time for you. Like, for example, for me, I like learning about me. I like helping people. Like, those are things that just give me life, So figure out what you're doing to just keep yourself busy and replace some of that time with you, quality time, not just pointless time that won't help you embrace who you are. Then the next part is exchange anything that you are doing to cover up your pain. You want to exchange that with something that actually brings you internal joy. Like for me, since I'm a person of faith, time with God, like I don't know how to explain it. So I'm not necessarily going to completely explain it, but time with God brings me eternal joy, and it confirms who I am and why I am the way I am. And it helps me to know that I don't have to worry about what other people think, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And who I am is because of, the part of the faith, or my faith in God. So the next part is I want you to swap out any old perspectives for new ones. Now this one, you all, it sounds easy, but it's not necessarily super easy, but it's not necessarily super hard. It's simple, actually. You just have to work at it. Just like a habit is developed, a bad habit, you can develop a new habit, a good habit. So what you would do, for example, the Bible talks about renewing your mind, and it's all about renewing your mind. So for example, if I would look at the way people do things as a certain way, like, oh, he's just doing that to make me mad. Why do I think that? Maybe he's doing that because that's the way he's been doing it. Like, it doesn't matter why a person is doing whatever they are doing. Or like my daughters always fight, oh, she's doing that to make me angry, And it's not that that's what's going on. Sometimes you have to look at it from a different perspective. If we're always centered on ourselves, it's kind of hard to find ourselves, which is crazy. Let me explain that. So if you are centered on what makes you upset or what other people are trying to do to hurt you, then you actually lose yourself. Instead, stop focusing on what other people are trying to do to hurt you, because in a lot of cases, many people aren't necessarily trying to do anything to hurt you. It just so happens that that is part of the programming that they have, and it doesn't matter. Like, you can catch someone in whatever you want to catch them in, but it's not going to matter, because if that's who they are, at that moment, that's who they are. And the same for us. We can change that. I did not mean to get off on a tangent on that, but that's important for you all to hear. So replace those old perspectives. And when you start to change, other people will notice that change. I promise. And then if they stay around you long enough, they're either going to walk on out or they're going to change too, which is a good thing. Both things are good. The next one, I want you to release the behaviors or habits that are not helping you succeed. So that's kind of like swapping out perspectives or exchanging things. So with this one, you really want to think about some habits that you have that aren't serving you. For example, if you want to live a long life and a successful life, or let's say you're already successful, but you want to live a long life and you're not eating healthy, hey, that's one of the things that you can swap out now. And don't be reactive to it, be proactive. For example, I personally started eating different because of my health, so I was being reactive instead of being proactive. Instead, I should have been eating healthy the whole time, which is crazy, because at one point I would only eat healthy, and then something happened. I'm not even sure. Something happened along the way. If you know that song, you know it. But something happened along the way, literally, and I started to eat unhealthy. I developed unhealthy eating habits. I don't know if it was because the job always had all these good treats for us for different days, or to say thanks. But I got used to it, I guess, that, but not just in my job or at work, but even spending time with close family and friends, different things that they had. But either way, those habits were not serving me. And if you want a long life so that your success could keep going for a while and you can enjoy it, then it's time to start making some healthy changes. And those things could be small. In all honesty, I suggest that you start with something small, because the small starts are the best starts. Because like I've said before, small things turn into big things. You have to decide what type of small thing you're going to plant. Think about it. And the next thing I want you to do is, instead of doing things to forget who you have become, do things to remember who you are at your core. And you all, this one is so deep, because at our core, it's kind of who we were like as a child. We were so free-spirited. And if you can remember anything of who you were as a child, and not the bad things, but the good things, that's who you truly still are, right? But here's the deal. You have to find a way to let go of blaming yourself for who you have become based off of certain things that you may have done, because the blame is not going to do anything but what? First off, it reminds you of what you've done. And second off, it just digs you deeper in the hole of shame. And there's no room for shame if you want success. So other people might shame you, let them do it, but you don't have to. You should not do it to yourself, and you should not allow that to deter you from where you are going. Because if you do, then you are hindering yourself from something that you truly deserve. So living unapologetically you is figuring out who you are at your core. And the best way for me to do that is to walk by faith, not by sight, not what I see and not how everyone else is doing. And when it comes to this Friday coming up, I'm going to talk to you about how being authentically you, unapologetically you in your business is going to help your business thrive, because so many people are out here trying to be other people. And that's the craziest thing, because you can't have somebody else's success. You can only have your success. It won't be sustainable. If you want sustained success, then you have to do it your way. Who you are at your core has to be a part, forget just be a part, it has to be running things. It has to be running you. Otherwise, you're going to be running around, like my mom used to always say, running around with a chicken with his head cut off. And who wants to, oh, and that sounds so sad. It sounds so sad. But anyway, who wants to live like that, right? So what I want to do is to encourage you, go out there, be unapologetically you. Do not apologize to others for who you are, and don't apologize to yourself for who you are at your core and for who you've become. Some of the things that you do, you may have to apologize for, or things that you've done, but who you've become, honestly, don't apologize for who you have become. Just work away from that. Because if you start apologizing for who you've become, you start giving ownership to it. Don't own that. Don't own who you have become if it's not who you truly are at your core. And if it has anything to do with rudeness, negativity, spitefulness, jealousy, etc., it is not who you are. It is not who you were created to be. I don't know if you've heard this before or not, but I'm telling you right now, that is not who you were created to be. So for now, I want to again encourage you to do what it takes. Do those little tips that I told you earlier to do to get to the core of who you are. Learn more about who you are and what you desire, because your dreams are not just for you. Your dreams are not just for you. Your breakthrough is not just for you. Yes, it's cool for you to have it, but it's also for someone else. We were not created to just be here on our own. Could you imagine life with no one else ever around you? Like, it's just not important. But because you are who you are, we all come together for a purpose, and everything works out. Everything works out. Like, I'm not good at everything, but someone else is good at something, and together we make things work. And honestly, that is the way it was meant to be. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on Friday. So look, if you have not subscribed, what I want you to do is go ahead and click that subscribe button and give me a big like, especially if I gave you any value. And what I want you to do is please tell me, let me know that you're going to take this challenge. In the comments, I want you to type challenge on, hashtag challenge on. Any of that is good for me. And come back and let me know how you did, how you are doing with what I've showed you, especially about becoming who you are at your core. And do me a favor, click the notification bell if you haven't done that either, so that you can be notified when I post my very next video. So remember, I always post on Mondays, Motivational Mondays, and then Friday, Pay to Your Way Friday, is where I connect what I talked about on Monday. But just for you all, my followers, my loyal followers, subscribers, I am going to start doing a Wednesday video. And this Wednesday video is going to be all about the basics to go ahead and get started. So if you're at square one, this is going to help you get started. And people have asked me, why are you doing this for free? You all, that's just who I am at my core. I've always been a giver. But if you find something that I do that is paid, that means that you are going to find far more value than what I've given you for free. So if this free stuff is good, oh, just wait. Just wait. So this Wednesday, you will see my very first video that's going to help you get started no matter where you are, because it's all about using my gifts, my talents, and my combined skills to help you get to where you need to be, because it's not just about me, but it's also about you. And if you're ready to take my hand, I will help you get there, all right? And if you're not ready, I totally get it. But there will be the time where you're ready, and it may not even be with me. You may find someone else that you want to work with, and that's totally okay. But just make sure that you get out there and you start making those changes that you need to make. And you can see that my heart is so filled. I don't know who's watching this. I don't even know who you are, but I know that you need this. I know that you need this. Thanks so much for watching. And as I always say, stay peaceful, positive, and productive. I'll see you next time.